I can only imagine the pain the owner must have felt by crashing their pride and joy, this beautiful 2017 959 Ducati Panigale, but that opens it up for people like me to come along and build a project bike. So stay tuned, it's time to put some fun stuff on this bike.
So today is the day. It's the day we get to take what's inside these boxes and transform this bike into a roller on two wheels. And for that, we need a new wheel, and this one is not gonna work. We need a set of forks because these ones are bent and broken. And then we need just about everything else to get this front end actually usable. But before I do any of that, there's so many little jobs that need to be fixed up and cleaned up before I can even start thinking about getting this bike on wheels and getting it off my ramp. And if you want to jump on board and support this build and future builds, feel free to buy me a coffee, link in the top right. So we now have a dash and we picked it up super cheap on eBay. However, we've got nothing for it to connect to. So we are waiting on the actual wiring loom. We've got a new wiring loom coming, well, a secondhand new, and off eBay again from the UK. We should just be able to unplug it somewhere back along the loom and then just plug the front part in. If we can't do that, then I will just splice in the end of the loom that I need with the plug on it so that we can plug the dash in place. So I've also got this front piece left over, and it's actually the nose cone from my last V2 build, and it goes just there. So you can see on my V4 how it's got that neat little part. Now, even though this is a race bike, it's gonna look a lot better having something there than not having something there. So it basically sits just like that, and it'll just smoothen out the front of the actual bike. So you'll see the screen come down, and then at least it'll have that nice bit of black plastic under it. It weighs like 20 grams, so it's not exactly adding any weight to the bike. Okay, so what was once probably a really beautiful tank is now, oh, it's not great. It's a bit bashed up. It's got a really, I won't say it's a big hole, but it's definitely a dent where the dude's nuts. So yeah, that's why I'm going to avoid using sizes. It's a dent where the dude's nuts has smashed the tank. Hopefully he's okay, and hopefully he can still have children, or has already had them. So I'm just going to clean this tank up and rip off some of these grips, because there's going to be a complete new tank cover, like a racing tank cover from Pro Fiber, going on this tank. We're not going to bother painting it because you're not actually going to see the tank. Okay, we did score one little nugget of gold for this bike, thanks to Matt from Clean Ride Brisbane. Clean Ride, I'll put the link in the description below, detailing on the north side of Brisbane. Amazing jobs. Just here's some of the footage of the workshop. We've got a couple of 999Ss in there at the moment, super rare bikes. Absolutely beautiful. I love going to a workshop that is neat and tidy compared to mine, obviously. Anyway, we scored this, which is off one of his old race bikes. So this is a Ducati Performance tank quick release. So that's going on this tank. And then once the tank cover goes on top, it's gonna look amazing. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Oh, I didn't just do that. I did just do that. And do you remember us getting our $5 rear fender? Well, quick coat and polish. Look at this. Okay, so back to the massive news. This is our new sponsor, suspentionsrus.com.au, Australian-based suspensions provider of all motorcycle suspensions. These guys are awesome. Jump on their website, suspentionsrus.com.au. Locate your bike, your brand of bike, your make, your model. Look at what they've got to offer. In this case, I've got a Ducati Panigale 959. I've got a choice of Nitron or YSS. I've gone with a complete YSS fit out, top to toe, everything you can think of, full race spec. And the guys at Suspensions R Us have done a fantastic effort to put it all together for me. If you want a discount, use code oneL. You'll get a healthy little discount, and I couldn't be happier. Let's get these boxes open and take a look. Look at that. How sexy is that? Fully adjustable YSS race shock. This thing is, wow, low, high compression. It's just awesome. I love it. And I love the fact that the red goes with a Panigale as well. If you ask me, this actually looks sexier than an Öhlins on a red Ducati. I can't wait to get this fitted. Best part about it, it comes with 3 springs, so you can choose the weight of your springs that suits you best. Check this out, a full YSS cartridge kit, racing 30mm cartridges. These are going to go down awesomely. Wow, these are gorgeous. Wow, some of the work on these is just phenomenal. YSS racing steering damper as well. This thing is really cool. If you remember, we put one of these on the V2 Panigale that we just built. And they look sensational. Look at that. That is cool. I love it. So these guys are awesome. They've also sent me a whole box. This whole box of merchandise. So we've got hats, we've got stickers, we've got shirts like the one I'm wearing here, YSS suspension. I've got key tags, I've got everything. So
Send in a photo of your suspension and why you want to upgrade to YSS, and one lucky winner, Australia only, will get a full kit sent out to them. Yeah, can I get a price check aisle 5 for some Brembo rotors for a 2017 959, thanks. What's that? $1,000, wow. So we also picked up a set of rotors with only 400 kilometers on them. Perfect, so these are going to get mounted on that wheel pretty much straight away, and not only that, here's our replacement forks. $500 for a full set replacement. Standard showers. These have only done a few hundred Ks, hardly even used, and these will get the new cartridges put in them. So let's get to it. We have got a massive day ahead of us. So the problem is this shaft is actually bent, so I can't even get it out of here because I need to get this spacer to go into here. So I got both wheels sitting the correct way, and then I should just be able to reuse the bolts once I do that to put these here. So I got to reuse these bolts and put them in here. I got to make sure it's greased up, put the new shaft in just to check it, make sure it's nice and smooth. So I think I'm going to have to cut this off. So after that, it's pretty simple. I've just got to transfer the bolts over, do both sides, get both rotors on. I'm not going to torque them down because I've got to take it all back off to get the wheels painted. Front wheel, done. Now we're on to the front forks. I've never actually done a full set of front forks for a bike that's this late model, so I'm gonna have to read the instructions. Okay, so I'm pretty much at the limit of my technical know-how here, so I think what I've got to do is unscrew the top cap, slide the outer tube down over the inner tube, unscrew the top cap of the inner tube, drain the oil, unscrew the bolt that's holding the bottom of the inner tube cartridge in place, get it out, and then put the new inner tube in, the new inner cartridge in, lock it in place in the bottom of the fork, fill it up with oil to the right, I think it's 563 cubic mils per fork, and then lock it back in place with the top caps, fill it with oil, already said that, and then set the compression and rebound. So this might be a little bit longer than I first anticipated. So I found it heaps easier to use the old triple clamp just to hold the top of the fork in place, because there was no way it was coming off if I didn't have it secured. Okay, I think I've hit a roadblock, because if you look down inside there, as soon as I pull the top up,
there's actually a nut and you've got to undo the nut. So I've got to get a special tool. I'm pretty sure I've made a couple of phone calls. Looks like I've got to get a special tool which goes over this rod as a sleeve and then sinks down into it. And then that's how you unscrew to get the springs and everything out. So I'm gonna have to order one or go to Ducati early in the week and see what you can get. Front end on hold. Okay. But that's okay, because now we can just rock on with the back suspension and at least get some of this gorgeous YSS gear on the bike. Pretty easy. Undo the front bolt, undo the back bolt. Make sure you jack up the bike so that the bike sits even and there's no load on the rear spring. Straightforward. Actually kind of easy. I was waiting for the whole bike to just completely fall apart, so that was good. A little bit nervous. Okay, we've gone with the middle shock. This is the 95.7 kilo shock. You do get a 101 kilo and a 92 kilo shock as well. So we've gone with the middle of the range in terms of hardness. So I also noticed when I was pulling this original shock off that the bolts weren't even really Loctited on. So I make sure I Loctite them on, and then pretty easy to get the new shock in place. You just got to slightly raise and lower the jack underneath the sump, and then that allows you to get alignment on the back shock. Pop the bolt in with a bit of Loctite, job done. I am seriously an amateur when it comes to this. You have got a thread spring preload adjuster, a rebound adjuster, compression adjuster, high-low speed compression adjuster, and a length adjuster. I think I'm gonna need to see someone professional to get this actually done for me. And I've just found another really small issue. Can you see this black plate just here? This is actually what was used for a crash protector. There was like a bobbin coming out here. And I actually think, you can see there's a little scuff on the side of the cover there. It's pushed this in. And I think this bottom bolt on the bottom of this triangular suspension stay looks bent. So I think I'm gonna need to replace that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off. I'm not gonna do it until I've checked my replacement bolts, or actually I might just do it now. I might just rip that off and put a new one in. Fingers crossed, it's okay.